It's a rare condition, it's called AIDS. When Magic Johnson got it, we all thought he was gay. If there was a cure, it'd be from God's design. Some people say it's even harder to find. Well, then there must be some magic cure inside those deep state walls. 'Cause all I see are medical fees. My whole family's victim to HIV. We relive horrible times, but make hilarious memories. We're consciously monetizing our traumas and our friendship. We also talk about smart guy stuff sometimes. We know the show's got a stupid name. Welcome to Always Very Always. Everybody talking about Kyrie Irving anti-Semitic this, Kanye West anti-Semitic that. Last time I checked, the good book, Semites are black. You know? No, but seriously though. But seriously, folks, we all know that in America, you know, we have a different history and relationship to the Jewish people. Unlike Europe, we don't have the baggage of the old world, of the old anti-Semitic policies and atrocities that wouldn't happened over there, mainly in Europe. But here in America, and this is the only way you could really be pro-Semite or at least respectful to Semites, or how I am. I'm really neutral on the Jewish question. Someone else can answer it later. But I think the way I see it is that in America, Jews are just white people. Like, let's be honest, folks. It's a fake religion and they're all white, so let's treat them as such. I don't respect their holidays or their traditions, but I do respect them as humans, as white humans, and nothing's wrong with that. Some of my best enemies are Jewish. To talk specifically and forthrightly about like the Kanye stuff, I think we touched on it a couple weeks ago, but I just saw this thing, and when that time this is going up, this would be like a week later, but I saw some like thing that CBS or MSNBC posted. It said like Kanye West paid hush money to a person who was gonna like spill the beans on like a time that Kanye was saying, yeah, Hitler was really nice with it. Like, I like his African styles. I like his, you know, I like, you know, he was just a great leader or something to that effect. Apparently Kanye said something to that effect, and someone's going to like tell the media about it, and he paid him money to not say nothing. But that's not Kanye's fault, is what y'all don't understand. He was reading the book, the Timothy Snyder and what's his face? The other guy book that I read from like 2 months ago, The Quintessential Blackness of Adolf Hitler. He read from that book. So he's not, this is when like liberals find out that there's other ways to perceive the world than theirs. There's different narratives that aren't just, you know, in their little Democrat versus Republican world. There's other things outside of that. And like I said before, some people, they be living in a bread tube universe. Other people be living in an intellectual dark web universe. But people like me, Kanye, Kyrie Irving, we're in the X videos of philosophy camp, the X videos of the mind. We read books that give you that dirty, grimy shit, you know, that maybe we shouldn't be reading, but deep down in our soul, we need it. It nourishes us. We want it deeply. And he was reading from that book. So if you want to go hear an excerpt of that, you can go check out the clip channel of this Google Hitler negotiations, Always Very Clips. Go to the Always Very Clips channel, and you can like a 10-minute excerpt of me reading. E40 was there, Macker was there, from GTA San Andreas. Everyone was there. It's a really great book. It really reimagines the Munich conference and what Hitler was really all about, and how his beautiful vision was corrupted by those right-wing generals But anyways, but hey, I'm not saying anything. They were saying something. It's not my opinion. I have my own opinions on history and whatnot. I just read the book. You know, the other guys were talking, speaking that message. I was just holding the monkey's ears. But as you may have noticed, Dantes isn't here today, because honestly, I don't know. We meet every Thursday around like 12 o'clock, and he just didn't show up, and he didn't text me, and I didn't text him because he was probably busy, and I'm like a piece of shit who doesn't like talking to people. I don't like texting, so I just assumed that he was just busy. So such a fucking antisocial dumbass. I could just text him, say where you at. We could just record a different day. But you know what? That's not how. What I plan on doing is not talking to him until the next Thursday, and he just randomly shows up at my house at 12 o'clock, and we just keep on going like nothing happened. That's what real friends do. Real friends don't text. They communicate through telepathy, and that's what I plan on doing. So what was I gonna say? Yeah, so that's why I don't know why he isn't here, but he's not here. It's mostly because I am like not a proactive person at all. I'm sort of reactive. I'm sort of a submissive, a bottom, if you will, in every relationship of any kind I've ever been in. Be a sexual relationship or in a workplace, or a teacher-student relationship. In a teacher-student relationship, I'm the bottom. I'm the sub, and my teacher's constantly doming me. Just sitting in the middle of class, just drooling on a ball gag, trying to finish this time test. That made me who I was. That built character, and yeah. But to go back to Kanye, I was thinking, this must be what people are saying now. I was really thinking this the other day. I was hearing all the nasty stuff people saying about Kanye and all the maybe not so savory things that Kanye said. I was like, I miss the old Kanye. I miss the bold Kanye. I miss the guy who loved Cheerios Kanye. And now I think of it, there were so many Kanyes. I miss the straight Kanye. I miss the gay Kanye. I miss the Chinese Mongolian Kanye. I went in a submarine, saw him down a deep sea Kanye. I miss the polo Kanye. I miss the bisexual, ambidextrous Kanye. And when he sucked that dude's dick on MTV, that was so Kanye. Stuff like that. I was just thinking about stuff. I kept plugging in stuff to that song. I miss the dog Kanye. I miss the cat Kanye. And when he fucked that horse, that was so Kanye. Okay, I gotta move on, because I could gotta do that all day. What else we want to talk about? I was going to watch that movie that Kyrie Irving put on his Twitter, but it was like, let me look it up here. But it was like 3.5 hours long. I'm like, I'm not about to do that. Yeah, it was Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up Black America. It came out like 4 years ago. And apparently people really don't like the movie because it has tropes about Jewish people or something. And I'm like, from what I read about this movie, I'm not going to watch it because I'm a busy man and whatnot. Wow, this is a really bad tagline. A lie cannot live forever. It was a tagline for this movie. Yeah, it got bad reviews for its anti-Semitic tropes. I'm gonna read this user review here, the featured review for this movie on IMDb. A historical piffle. And worse than that, it will bore you to tears. I'd rather watch paint dry. Presented as a documentary, this fever dream of historical annihilation and revisionism lacks any pretense of serious or even unserious scholarly inquiry. Its premise is beyond risible for anyone with even passing understanding of history. And of course, it trots out well-known anti-Semitic tropes that are worthy of Mein Kampf or the Protocols of the Elders of Zion or Judas Sus. That was a book about Jews being sus. If If you enjoy unadulterated conspiratorial propaganda that makes reading the phone book sound comparatively exciting, this movie's for you. For one, reading the phone book was very exciting for me when I was a kid. I love reading through the phone book. Maybe that's just me. Two, I'm not going to talk about anti-Semitic trust because I didn't see the movie. But I did read Mein Kampf and the Protocols of Elders of Zion. And I referenced Protocols of Elders of Zion actually quite a bit. But I read Mein Kampf in high school for like a project. And maybe that was at the time I didn't really understand what a Jew was, so any Jewish archetypes just went right past me, Jewish tropes or anti-Semitism went right past me, because I was like, yeah, I guess this stuff is wrong, I guess, but I don't know why, because I didn't really know what a Jew is, and then when I learned what a Jew is in America, it's like, yeah, it's just a white guy, with an afro, I guess, with curly hair, but. What I don't understand about why this is so, like, I can understand it being a bad movie, but I don't understand why you can't have alternate narratives of history, especially for the ancient times, like ancient Hebrew tribes, like most people, 6,000 years ago, they didn't have a reading system. I mean, well, I guess they didn't have a reading system either. They didn't have a writing system is what I mean. They didn't have written language and whatnot. So all this like history of that time is like through triangulation and like what people from like 3,000 years ago are talking about, even though it was like ancient history to them. Like they finally, like 3,000 or 4,000 years later after the fact, developed writing systems and like wrote stories down that, I don't know if we could really take that as good history. I can understand if there was something like, in the last 2,000 years where there is a lot of like hard, from multiple perspectives, primary sources, but we're talking about something from 6,000 years ago, and it's not from like India, Egypt, China, or something, or Greece. It's probably there's a little bit of interpretation. A lot more interpretation has to be involved. I don't think that the origin of the Hebrew tribes or the Jewish tribes or whatever you want to call them, I don't know if that's like uncontestable. Not to say that this is right, because it's probably not, but I just don't understand how like this could, like, you can't question it at all. And I like every time there's anything like this, and this is like the most obvious thing. It's like stuff like this, or reacting to like atrocities that Israel does. When any like anti-Semitic shit, when someone gets called anti-Semitic in the media and there's this big thing about it, they're proving, even though the conspiracy isn't true, but if you believe in like an anti-Semitic conspiracy where they all control the media, it's like they kind of prove it right by just calling every criticism, every alternate viewpoint on Judaism, just calling it anti-Semitic, calling it tropes, for even criticizing anything. And now I'm very critical of Israel and I don't support it. And I don't support anti-Semitism or anything like that. And I certainly I'm not a Kyrie Irving. Like, I don't agree with Kyrie Irving. And I don't give a shit if Negroes are the true fucking Jews, because who the fuck cares? But I just think it's so funny to me. It's like someone will say Jews control the media, and then like fucking the entire media is like, hey, no, we don't. But whatever. I just think, I don't know, if Dantes was here, I don't know what he would say about this. So this is actually kind of benefit in disguise, because I'm way more comfortable in the milieu of all this like outsider like conspiracy type stuff, alternate narrative history type stuff, because I don't know, you're not like really an American if you don't really hate the culture. It's the same way like I view New Orleans. It's like you're not a real New Orleansian. You're not really from NOLA. You ain't really a NOLA nigga until you hate this place, in my opinion. Until you're like resigned to the violence, you're resigned to never having money. You're always saying, I gotta get out of here, but you never get out of here. if you're like a man living in lower nine, you're just resigned to the fact that you have to like fuck your landlord, your female landlord sometimes, so you can get half off the rent. You're just like, it's a dark place, and being honest about that makes you like the real deal. And it's the same thing for America and its culture. It's like you're not a real America until you resent deeply the liberal cultural hegemony and you resent the political system. You're not a real American until you stop voting completely, in my opinion. That is I think that's being peak American, is caring deeply about politics but never voting, caring deeply about, pop culture but hating it. And yeah, it's contradictory or whatever, but you have to go through the progression. You can't just stay at a level and saying that, like, as you get more educated about things, you're going to start realizing that you're going to behave differently, you're going to think differently, you're going to gravitate to different things. And I think what Kyrie Irving and all these like conspiratorial type guys or alternate narrative type people are, they're going through that progression. Will they ever make it to the promised land of Marxism, Leninism? Probably not. But they're a lot closer to there than just your average media shithead who's in the pocket of big liberalism. But I'm whatever. Our audience of mostly black female front desk workers at the DMV is probably not gonna like this. Probably not gonna like this episode. This first 15 minutes here. But I just had to get that off my chest. I had to get that off my rack right quick, because it's really biting at me. And I want to get my opinion out there because I'm all about the marketplace of ideas. I'm all about like the free exchange of ideals, and I'm all about pushing my brand, my X Videos brand of philosophy. As always, giving you that grimy shit that maybe you don't need, but everyone wants. What's the next thing I'm going to talk about here? I wanted to talk about. There's a couple funny things that I wrote down. It's like this guy, like let's say, I was thinking about Inglourious Basterds the other day and how like they scalped the Nazis' heads and stuff. And I don't know if how widespread scalping was outside of like Native American like wars. But I just imagine a guy like some guy in the American army in like 1850 and it's getting raided by like Choctaw or something. And, they just get ran through. The Choctaw just fucking that like little outpost of 50 Americans up. And this one guy, I just get on the floor and I pretend to be dead. And I do a convincing job. Like I hold my breath for a while and they're going around scalping everyone. And then they come up to my body and like, I'm still pretending to be dead, so they just scalp me. And as they start to scalp me, I'm like, ah! Ah! I'm just screaming, just blood curdling screaming because they scalping me alive. I wonder what would happen if they caught me. Would they stop? They probably would stop. Native Americans are very nice. They're very nice people. From what I know, because they let me rack up so much debt at the casino, and they threatened. They took me in the back and they said, if I don't pay this off in the next 2 weeks when I get my next check, we will murder your mother. And that's better than an Italian mob. They'll just pop your eye out as soon as you're not paying the debt back, not paying some of the debt off. So Native Americans are very cordial with me. They didn't threaten any bodily harm to me. I mean, they threatened my mother. But, that's somebody else. And it's sort of my mom's fault because she gave birth to me and she still won't give me, she never gave me allowance as a kid. So me racking up debt and her dying for it, that's sort of on her. Because if I gave me allowance, it would allowed me to get good with money and I never would have felt the need to gamble, or I would have learned how to gamble properly. And then I would have been like a champion at gambling. I would have won at life. But since my mama had to be a dumb, greedy bitch and make $12 an hour, working at McDonald's. Um, she didn't want to give me. She didn't. You getting 12, like the minimum wage here in the federal minimum wage is 7.25. So that's all you need to live. Let me get an allowance of 4.75 an hour. I'm grinding here. I was grinding in third grade. I was grinding in fourth grade. I was an uh, what's it called? A magna cum laude guy until like seventh grade. It all went downhill in seventh grade because that's when, like, damn, I was going over to my friend's house. I was like, damn, all my friends getting allowance and they got Xboxes, Tox boxes, chocolate boxes, cookie totes, little toads and Schroets. A Schroet's like a rodent, right? They got all this stuff at their house. They got pets, cookies, cakes, and pies, game cubes, chance cube, Dance Dance Revolution, and all this. And what I got, I had fucking DS. I had a piss stained DS. Couple of games on it. I had a Wii. I also had an Xbox. And maybe I had a couple games for all of them. Yeah, I had a computer. Yeah, I had a flat screen TV, but it wasn't enough. I never got to spend the money myself on it, so I just got the things as gifts, as whatever. But mom, and let's also blame our dads out there. Black dads are not getting enough blame for what they do to their children. And you could be like, yeah, that stereotype is always going to stick, and that's going to be a pressure on a black man to maintain a family, or maintain a relationship with the wife, or maintain, that structure, even though he maybe should get the divorce. Maybe it would be the best thing for him personally. And that puts a lot of pressure on the black man and the black family. Is not becoming a statistic. But we don't put enough pressure on them. There should be it shouldn't be like divorce or maintain the family. It should be maintain the family or commit suicide, commit Sudoku, Seppuku, and Pokemon Shuffle on yourself. You cut your own guts out, or you stay together. Because let's face it, folks, these dads aren't really paying their child support that much. They don't pay that much. I remember finding out what other talking to my friends and talking to friends that had a little more money, and them had their parents being divorced, and then somehow I don't know how this come up, but finding out how much their parents had to pay, their dad had to pay in child support, and I was like, damn, you're doing good. I was like, my dad gave my mom $50 in a fucking Tootsie Roll every month, and didn't even pay it half the time. But some of these people are getting $2,100 every month, and I'm like, where they do that at? They ain't doing that over here in fucking New Orleans East. They weren't doing that over there when I was over in Southeast fucking Missouri. But apparently they're doing that over there in Metairie. Apparently they're doing that over there in Mid City. But what I was even fucking talking about? Oh yeah, how it's my mom's fault that she's gonna get murdered by the Native American mob. But yeah, that's what I gotta say about that. But another thing, taking you back to my childhood so you can learn a little bit more about who I am, who I be, and who I will be. So I remember, because I think I this wasn't on a podcast, but last week, after we recorded, we were walking to the Chick-fil-A, because we do support gay conversion camps, and that's why we love going to Chick-fil-A. We love spending all our money on Chick-fil-A. That's actually why I don't have money now, mostly, because even when I do get my gambling winnings from playing the slots or whatever, I spend my winnings at Chick-fil-A mostly. And I go in there, it'd be at 4:30 in the afternoon. There's 3 people in line, and then me and Dantes say, everybody in here, it's all on me. It's all on me. I'm paying everybody's stuff. I just won at the fucking lottery, and I'm blowing this little rack of $50 I just won on the slots. And And I keep doing that every time I win. You know, I'm penniless. I'm destitute. I will be getting kicked out of my apartment soon enough. That and a combination of various health violations, be it the black mold that I'm developing and experimenting on. Apparently, that's against the apartment codes and rules and regulations, or maybe like the city building codes or whatever. Also, the fact that I like this is getting a little gross here. But it works for me. Like my shower, like the drain is very big. That's a big hole, like way bigger than your normal, shower, normal tub. So I pee and poop in it. So hey, don't judge me. Don't judge me. I pee and poop in the shower, and I and at first, for like the first year I lived here, I would like use my foot to make the poop go down the drain. But what you do is you can unscrew like the little, like the what's it called? The metal cover on the drain, like where it got all those holes. And it was scary anyway, because all those holes were giving me trypophobia. So every time, like sometimes I would poo in the shower just out of fear when I saw that that drain. So I took the top part of the drain off, all the little holes, and instead of throwing it away, it's like, oh no, I can't put this in the garbage can because it has bacteria and stuff on it. So what I did was I opened up like my door to the balcony, and I just chucked that shit as far as I could. And I don't know where it went, but all I heard was my leg in the distance. And I just assumed that was something unrelated, because I did hear like a car, like the alarm go off. So maybe I thought, oh, someone got hit by a car or something. It wasn't me. But yeah, and I'm under hot water, because I poo and pee in the tub. But yeah, but I am gonna get kicked out, and if you really help me out, honestly, if you check out the Patreon, you spend a little money, maybe $5-10 a month, it's not nothing big, but it help a brother out, because niggas struggling out here. And yeah, I might, the way this is what's going forward, the Patreon money, half of that going to me, half of that going to Dantes, but half of Dantes' money is going towards my gambling. So I'm being responsible, because my half is going towards rent and shit like that, but half of Dantes' half is going towards gambling, and that's the limit. That's the limit. I'm not gonna do any more than that, because I'm trying to wean myself off the stuff. So you can help a brother out, because if I'm just using my regular money that I get from payday loans and whatnot, I'm gonna keep doing my regular. I must blow all my money on Chick-fil-A and gambling. I'm gonna be living at Harris. After I get kicked out of this apartment, I'm gonna be living in the parking lot over by Harris. I'm gonna be living in the parking lot by the aquarium and stuff. So, help brother out. Just do the right thing. Check out the Patreon. Check out the clip channel. Always Very Clips. I mentioned that before. We got fire clips. They're good clips. They're shareable. Your friends will love it. Your friends will love this show more than you do, even. That's what I'm thinking. And yeah. So we doing cool stuff, and I think it's all pretty entertaining or whatever. But really, even if it wasn't entertaining, do a brother a solid. Do a brother a solid and help, a black man on the rise out. Because I don't want to be one of those resentful guys who becomes successful when he's in his late 30s and be like, I can brag about, yeah, ain't nobody helped me. I ain't getting no handouts. Every time I walked outside, dogs would bark at me. Every time I go on Walmart, guards would punch at me. Every time I went in Walmart, the greeter would frown at me. Every time I went into the airport, the TSA agent would molest me. And it's like, all that was dragging me down, but I still made it. We out here puffing on clouds. It's only the beginning. Even though I'm middle age and I have gang ties and multiple bodies on me, and it's only gonna be a matter of days until I'm sentenced to death because of my past life. stuff like that. I don't want to be that type of guy. Like, yeah, I got multiple bodies on me, but if I get the community to help me, that was C Murder's problem. Honestly, he didn't have enough buy-in in the community. I know this is blasphemous to say. Popular local rapper gets convicted of murder on trumped up charges. I'm a free C Murder guy, but I'm just saying it would have never got that far if more people were out here lobbying for C Murder to not even like really paying attention in that court case as it was happening, so he never got convicted in the first place. And if that C Murder thing happened in 2018 or 2019, what year is this? 2022. If that happened now, I think there would be enough attention on it, enough public outcry to be like, oh, that one person who is lying, that witness is lying, and we could call him out on it, and C Murder wouldn't be convicted. He would have got 20 years of his life back and some, because I think he might have a life sentence. Actually, is C Murder, did he get a life sentence? Let's see. I would love to get C Murder on the show. Let's see, how's he doing? He's 51 years old. 2018 with 2K. Oh, my bad. Okay, Miller is serving his life sentences at Louisiana State Penitentiary. Controversy surrounding witnesses involved in Miller's trial came to light in 2018 when two key witnesses recanted their statements, claiming they had been pressured into testifying against Miller by authorities. Miller maintains his innocence, and he, his brothers, and his nephew have all called for a new trial numerous times. So yeah, if this happened now, people would have been able to call bullshit on the witnesses a little bit earlier, and there would have been public pressure on the witness to maybe recant that statement as the trial's happening, and then the whole trial just gets thrown out. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just rooting for the home team a little too hard, because there's all these other rappers got convicted of murders, but all these other rappers that convicted of stuff in like the past 10 years, they all make songs about, I murdered that nigga on 30. Oh, I'm about to say an address that I was about to say someone I know's address, but you get the point. It's been joked about many times that they'll make a song talking about exactly how they did the murder. So you don't need me to finish that bit for you. You already get it. People have done it before. But anyways, Louisiana State Penitentiary legitimately looks like a school I went to in Texas. And if you lived in Texas, or at least vacation there, had like people, I don't know why you vacation in Texas. Maybe Corpus Christi. Go to the beautiful beaches of Corpus Christi. But anyways, a lot of the schools, like I remember one time I went, it was while my cousins were in high school, going to San Antonio and seeing the high school they went to, and it just looks like a fucking prison. It's like it's a prison without barbed wire fencing. Let's see here. I'm trying to look at more pictures of the Angola prison system, and I'm trying to get a better view of it, because from what I'm seeing, it just it looks like just a southern school. Oh man. I couldn't fucking imagine being in that prison. I can imagine being like an ADX Florence or something, where it's just like, it's, because that's represented in media all the time. But I feel that, Angola does not get shined in too many TV shows or movies, at least that I've seen. But on Louisiana State Penitentiary Wikipedia, I'm gonna read off this because it's content. The Louisiana State Penitentiary, also known as Angola, also nicknamed Alcatraz of the South, the Angola Plantation or the Farm, is a maximum security prison farm in Louisiana operated by the Louisiana Department of Public Safety and Corrections. It's named Angola after the former slave plantation that occupied this territory. Plantation was named after the country Angola, from which many slaves originated before arriving in Louisiana. That's like so dark. Oh my God. It's like, yeah, we're gonna we're gonna get rid of the plantations. We'll get rid of slavery, but on top of all the plantations, we're going to make gigantic labor camps where the vast majority of people sentenced here whatchamacallit, will be black. Will be the same people who would be slaves if it was slavery still illegal. Was still legal, minus the women, I guess. So that's big. That is progress. We got to make slavery. We went from slavery of everyone to just like a physical harsh slavery of men on the plantations, and we just make the women, y'all can do those shitty front office jobs at the DMV, or work at Best Buy, or work at McDonald's. And if you're lucky enough, one out of every 500 black women will become a Kamala Harris style individual. And we can only hope, right, folks? I really like Angola's flag. It's like a machete with like a gear. And I'm like, man, that's looking hella communistic. And I forgot. Angola is like, let's see, isn't it like a Marxist-Leninist state? Or it was at one point. Let's read here. It has vast mineral and petroleum reserve. That's what's up. After a protracted anti-colonial struggle, Angola achieved independence in 1975 as a Marxist-Leninist one-party state. The country descended into devastating civil war. I remember that. I was there, actually. I volunteered. And I was for the MPLA. And then I was there when they were doing the mocap and the filming to that death of the MPLA cutscene. It was pretty odd because we were like shooting at them and stuff, but they were just filming, and we were trying. I swear to God, I wish I had a camera back then to film it, but I had like I think it was called the DSR 50 or whatever, and I was doing YY 720, quick scopes to the guy who said that to MPLA, but he wouldn't die. I kept getting hit markers. I don't know why. But yeah, I was there for that. Let me keep reading here. Between the ruling's People Movement for the Liberation of Angola, the MPLA, backed by the Soviet Union and Cuba, the Insurgent National Union for Total Independence of Angola, UNITA, originally a Maoist and later anti-communist group supported by the United States and South Africa. That's not what's up, because back then South Africa was like, yeah, whites should have all the power, but like, yeah, it's a black country, but we know whites have a mind to govern, and blacks be like, oh, I'm over here trying to play the bongos, and I'm trying to play my little monkey, and I'm trying to eat fried Oreos and shit, and white people be like, hitherto unitus dominatus, united we fall, together we stand. And that, you see that, you might be like, what, that's just gibberish, but white people understand what that means, and that really speaks to them, because they have the governing mind, where black people be like, oh, I'm trying to leave work early, I don't even want overtime because I'm trying to catch Martin tonight. And that's how they were in South Africa. So maybe Mandela was wrong. Anyways, backed by Zaire. The country has been governed by MPLA ever since the independence. Following the war in 2002, Angola emerged as a relatively stable unitary presidential constitutional republic. They still got that badass flag though, so good for them. Oh, the motto is Virtus Unita Fortior. Virtue is stronger when united, and ain't that the truth? Ain't that the goddamn truth? I could use some fucking strength when I'm united. Whatchamadanky? What I'm gonna say here? I don't know why I keep reading the fucking Wikipedia. Well, and we're done with that. But if you are interested, if you're like me and you like looking at the Wikipedia for cool geographical things, go check out the Wikipedia for Lake Baikal. It's one of my favorite lakes. Some people consider the Caspian Sea a lake, and if we do that, that's probably my favorite lake. So yeah, it's Lake Baikal or the Caspian Sea. But you know what? You know what? I'm calling it a sea. You know what? I don't even think it's a sea. I think it's a whole ocean. Cause think of it. What's the essence of an ocean? It's like a lot of water. It's so much water that when you on one side of it, you can't even see the other side. But with lakes, you can always there's always some on the other side, like a mountain or like Nessie. Like they be having Nessies in lakes, but in oceans they don't have Nessies. There's like it's so big and vast that even the supernatural beings don't even feel comfortable like showing up and saying hi. Like, cause the ocean is for like mean, catty, like sort of standoffish, sort of guys, like squids and stuff and whales. Like they come out for air, but they ain't trying to mess with you. You know, dolphins, they're like the weird kid. They're like the girl who's like she kind of cute with it. She cute with it, but she wearing like a orange like fluffy wig, and she talking about how she identifies as a starfish and stuff. This is not this. Hey, don't. This is not me saying this. This is not this. That's not an idea. This is I talk to dolphins. Many of my best friends were dolphins back in the day, and this is how they were. Like dolphins are that cute weird chick, but she's not cute enough to justify how weird she is type thing. And that's like really the essence of the ocean. Whereas a lake, it's just like it's sort of like a football team. It's like sort of like that environment, or like a girls softball team. We're all here just to do our thing. And like sometimes we get serious. Sometimes when there's like a Lake of Rage style thing, where there's a bunch of Gyarados who are angry. But most of the time we're here to vibe, be athletic, and just have a chill, sexy time with each other. And in the ocean, it's just like a lake is like romantic sex, and ocean is like rape. And I think Caspian Sea has a history of rape, especially those raids, that various Cossacks would do to northern Iran or northern Persia, I should say actually, and stuff like that. There was always raids happening, coastal raids happening on the Caspian Sea. When on Lake Baikal, there was just seals having a good time. There was various peoples playing their traditional music on Lake Baikal. It was a pleasant time, and it was pretty cold. It was a cold time, so bring your coats and whatnot. Um, but yeah, I think that's the difference between. There's no such thing as a sea. It's just an ocean. There's oceans and lakes, and we can maybe consider a river its own thing as well. But it depends on how wide the river is, honestly, because like the Volga River is almost like a lake. I would say at some parts it's almost like a lake. The Mississippi, not the Mississippi. I mean, in Louisiana, the Mississippi is so like controlled, I think, to where like it doesn't count as a body of water. It's more like just a thing that's just there. I don't really think of the Mississippi River as like it being water around New Orleans, because like it's controlled by these like big metal, these like gigantic metal. I don't know what you would call them, but are they called dikes? I don't know. I thought dike was a hole, but I think a dike might be a levee. It's like controlled by these like metal structures that keep the river from like moving east or west, because naturally the lower Mississippi, it starts its flow shifts, not from north from south, but like at one point it will go straightly like right where it is right now. If you took the metal structures away, it would naturally start like shifting to the left, or depending on the weather, it would naturally shift more to the right. And maybe in an extreme case, I don't know what's ever happened in history, the Mississippi River could start flowing into Lake Pontchartrain, maybe, or towards the Bonnet-Carré spillway area. We've controlled it from doing that through those metal things. Let's just call them dikes. Or let's call them bull daggers, actually. Let's call them bull daggers. They put down these big metal bull daggers to control the flow of the lake. So I don't really think of it. It's more like a human-made sort of thing. It's like a cyborg. That's what it is. We call it a cyborg, because it's not a lake and it's not a sea. But I would call the Volga River is a lake, and I think we can all agree on that. The Tiber River is an extension of an ocean, we obviously that one's a that's a self-explanatory. Um, but yeah, let's see what else I got on this here document. Oh, there's this city. I was trying to like find a place to pitch my book because I'm writing a manuscript, and I'm trying to pitch my book so I can have some money. Because maybe that's my only way to ever get fucking ducats in this world is not ever really getting a real job. Because I think that shit might have passed. But maybe I have to go all in on being a creative guy. So I have been working on this book called Garibaldia for some time. And hopefully I can get something. Maybe I can get a little $5,000 book deal. Hey, that's all I need. I can make that $5,000 stretch for a while. Especially if, I get a couple, hot hands gambling at the fucking casino. I could make that stretch for a lot longer, actually. But anyways, I was on a site talking about, the procedure to go pitch your book, what you want to do before you ever write a pitch and all this. And I saw this book, on the ads on the sideboard of the website, and it was called like Utopia, Texas. I'm like, oh, is this some sort of sci-fi book, or is it sort of like this alternate history sort of fantasy thing? I went to go Google what the book was, and apparently it was just like a history of the city Utopia, Texas, which is a real city. And what I thought was a little ironic, I guess, a little ha ha hee hee, is that Utopia, Texas, you guessed it, is right next to Uvalde, and that's a shame. And that's a shame to be naming that, because it's like, oh, it's Utopia, and then right next to it we have School Shooter City, and it's like, that's fucked. But we could talk a little bit about the history of Utopia, Texas. It is a census designated place in Uvalde County. Let's change it to Utopia County, because we don't want to remind ourselves, about that tragedy. But Utopia only has 227 people living in. What a shithole. But what I found interesting is that Carl Berkeley of Zurich, Switzerland, one of the early Swiss socialists, had moved to Texas in 1855 to take part in an endeavor to found a utopian self-sustaining community named Utopia. However, the project didn't succeed, and Berkeley moved back to Zurich. He took part in the movement to end the rule of the liberal majority in Zurich. In 1868, he was elected to the Council for the Revision of the Constitution of Zurich. Others say citizens of another earlier settlement of Waresville called it Utopia after finding that the name Montana, Texas had already been taken. To this day, the cemetery is named for Waresville. A planned utopian community nearby was canceled after the failure of La Reunion near Dallas discouraged colonizers. The nearby city of Castroville was founded by French Alsatian settlers. So that was French guys from Alsace-Lorraine. So maybe they spoke German. There were French guys, I think, who spoke German. Which fits Texas, because it was filled with German speakers before, the great anti-German sentiment in the early 1900s. I feel like German should be like not a second language. It should be English, German, Spanish. That should all be the primary language, like on equal footing with each other in America, because those are the languages that built America. And we could add Dutch in as like as a gesture, but but yeah, that's why I just want to read that, because I just thought, how was like this shitty ass town? There's still like a debate of what the history of it was. Like, who gives a fuck? It's a shitty ass town. Who founded it? We should nuke it. Yeah, Utopia has like I think it has one high school and one elementary school. So if you did a school shooting there, that'd be like school's out forever. So school's out forever. School's out 'cause I shot it. Yeah, well, that's all I say about Utopia. I was gonna talk about if I had 3 wishes. What would I do with it? But we're not gonna talk about that right now. What we got on the list? The KFC console. I don't know what I was looking up. I think I was looking up like the KFC donut chicken sandwich to see if they still sell that. Because I remember the KFC donut chicken sandwich. It came out like February of 2020. So like right conveniently, like 2 months later, we're all in quarantine, and we're door dashing stuff, and we're like, hey, let's experiment. Let's be epic and get donut sandwiches, and then like gain 20 pounds because we can't really go outside that much. So it came on right in time for everyone to be gaining weight and getting diabetes. So, but that's not what I'm talking about. The KF console is apparently like a real thing, but what I don't get about it is why would I, like, if I'm a PC gamer, like how much do you think I sit down during a day? Like, do you think gamers don't move at all? Because it's meant to be like a PC with also like a chicken microwave and a chicken refrigerator as well, I think. But we already have microwaves and refrigerators. Do we really need that to be all the same thing? And yeah, I'm on the website for the KF console, and it says introducing the KF console. Power your hunger. The KF console has arrived, forged from the fires of the KFC ovens and built by the Cooler Master from the ground up. There has never been a tastier way to experience the latest titles in stunning 4K, 240 FPS. World's first built-in chicken chamber. Never risk letting your chicken go cold again. Thanks to the patented chicken chamber, utilizing the system's natural heat and airflow system, you can now focus on your gameplay and enjoy hot, crispy chicken between rounds. So it's like, okay, you get your computer so hot for trying to run the newest, not even the newest, fucking games you're trying to run Shadow of Mordor on max settings. And your graphics card is like heating up to like 95 degrees. And it's like, oh, people make the joke, oh, I could fry egg on this thing. KFC is making Reddit jokes real, I guess, by using the heat from your very expensive graphics card and using that to heat up your nasty ass chicken. Built and designed by Cooler Master. At Cooler Master, we're wired different. We're built different. We're sort of shaped like Grimace, but even taller. We go way beyond the outside of the box to deliver cutting-edge performance with a touch of class. Our expert mod team, led by the legendary Swedish craftsman Temple, what? Our legendary Swedish craftsman PewDiePie set about building this awesome beast, and boy, did he deliver. Only the best. Housing the custom Cooler Master NC100 chat. This is nerd shit. I don't give a fuck about that. Why can't you just show me a video of someone using it? And I don't need my games to be finger licking good. They're gonna get grease on the keyboard and stuff. I don't know. I don't really get it. Let's see. Can I get a release date? So it might be coming out soon. I don't understand what's taking so long. Like, why not just make like, I don't know, like 2,000 of these bad boys, send some out to like some big reviewers, send us out to Ninja and stuff, if C's doing, send us out to XQC and all of them, Hassan Piker, even get like the little guy, the little mid-tier guy, get us to the Black Hokage, let these people review it, and they'll be like, oh, it's so funny, but actually it works. Like, it's an idea so stupid that it works, and then people will start buying it. It's sort of like it reminds me somewhat of that. I had that Xbox fridge that they sold, the Xbox mini fridge that they sold for like $100. Now, I mean, that was relatively cheap, I guess, for a new mini fridge. I don't even know. But it reminds me of that. It's like a joke that the internet made. And then the company's like, what if we made it real? And then we can make a little bit of money off it. So I'm waiting for the KF console to come out because I need something to buy my kids. They need presents this Christmas. So, and they're not so much a fried chicken sort of family. They like heating up their goldfish and whatnot, which I'm also gifting them this Christmas. Because it's nothing like, my kids really love just drinking a warm glass of milk and some warm goldfish before they go to sleep. Let's see, what else we got to talk about here? Ben Simmons. I don't understand Ben Simmons because it's like, just retire. If you don't like basketball, just retire. That's what I would do. I know a lot of people will be like, oh, if I was Ben Simmons. No. They always do the wrong take, because it's not that it's stupid to do if I was this person sort of hypothetical, because they never put themselves actually in their shoes. They're just like, well, if you swap me for him, is basically what they're saying, instead of saying if I was Ben Simmons. You know what I'm saying? Like you're putting yourself there instead of going from his perspective. Is what you should be doing. Like from his perspective, he can have his same feelings or whatever. I'm not saying that he's wrong for feeling the way he does, or lack of confidence or whatever's happening inside his head. I'll just be like, the only difference that I think he should make or should have made is that, like, retire. Like, you're never going to like this, in my opinion. You're probably never going to like this again, because you really, like, he never seemed like a guy who liked basketball to begin with. So, like, I don't know. No, you don't have to make it to the end of your contract, in my opinion. You get one more year of getting paid this money, and then you're done. And then you just go off into obscurity. And I know that would be a thing that I think that'd be if I was in the NBA, or even if I was Ben Simmons, let's say. It's like I wouldn't be comfortable. I wouldn't know what to do. What's life after basketball really like? And I guess that's something that he maybe never really confronted. But he's been, even though he lost a lot of money getting fined by the 76ers last year, I would just be like, hey, play one more season and see if, like, if I start to enjoy it again. But if I don't, just fucking retire. Like, you underrate to the degree, I think you underrate to the degree, that a lot of these players have passion for the game. A lot of them don't. Don't get me wrong. But a lot of these high level NBA players, they do have a legitimate passion for the game. So even though they're past the point of having anything to prove, a good example like Vince Carter when he played until he was 42, you know, or like Tom Brady in football, they have nothing to prove. They keep playing because it's like that's their life. That's all they got. But why would you keep playing past the point that you have anything to prove? And especially if you're Ben Simmons, you don't really give a fuck. You feel like you have nothing to prove. Like, he wouldn't have sat out multiple entire seasons if he felt like he had something to prove. Even though you could say, oh, yeah, he had injuries. He had injuries the first season. He had the one foot injury that kept him out the entire season, that kept him out his rookie year. Or he had the back injury that kept him out the entire last year and the playoffs of last year. You know, to some extent, he was playing it up, even though he might have had a real back injury at one point. But it's like, if you don't care about winning a championship or being viewed as like a winner or whatever, just fucking retire. You have nothing to prove, and you'd be a lot happier if you did that. But maybe he's just trying to, I don't know, like, get injured, like, take injury breaks until I don't know how to say this. like miss 2 games, miss 5 games, miss whole months at a time until his contract runs out so he can keep getting paid. But anyways, I have a lot of sympathy for Ben Simmons because I'm also a guy who really didn't like basketball, was on the basketball team, and just lost my love for the game entirely, but just had to finish what I started. And I just hope that Ben Simmons fucking quits. He either retires at the end of the season in a shocking manner, or he refines his love for the game and he goes back. Doesn't need to be a shooter. Doesn't need to be any of that. He can ball handle. He's a great defender when he wants, back in the day. Maybe not now. And I just feel like either way, in my eyes, and the way he should view himself as someone who has nothing to prove. If he retires or if he keeps playing, that's what I would tell him if I was like his friend or whatever. So I wanted to finish off this episode just by saying that is sometimes your life, you might have had all your eggs in one basket. You finally do get what you want. You won the gamble, you hit big, but you realize it's not exactly what you wanted. It wasn't enough. It didn't go the way you planned it. And sometimes you just gotta either swallow that pride and pivot to something else, or you just you find something about it that makes you fall in love with why you gambled on it in the first place. So I'll leave y'all with that. Thank you so much for listening. If you made this throughout this whole non-Dantes nonsensical nonsense this episode, thank you so much. Check out Always Very Clips. Check out the Patreon, and check out a book from your local library, folks. Support libraries, and and get your daughter spayed or neutered. Bye.